The United States is on track to have spent nearly $6 trillion on war since the September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks. The annual analysis from the Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs at Brown University far exceeds Pentagon estimates because it looks at all war-related costs.
Here's a summary of the article.
The United States is on track to have spent nearly $6 trillion on war since the September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks, according to a report released Wednesday. The annual analysis from the Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs at Brown University far exceeds Pentagon estimates because it looks at all war-related costs, including the Pentagon's War Fund, related spending at the State Department, veterans' care and interest payments, for military operations in Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan and elsewhere. Should the wars continue through fiscal 2023, total costs will be more than $6.7 trillion, the study added, citing the Pentagon's projected future years' spending and likely needs for veterans. The latest Pentagon estimate pegged its costs in Afghanistan, Iraq and Syria since 9/11 at $1.5 trillion, according to its August report to Congress. The Watson Institute study says the Pentagon and State Department war funds for Iraq and Afghanistan make up $1.8 trillion of its total alone, with Iraq costing $822 billion and Afghanistan costing $975 billion. Syria has cost $54 billion, Pakistan has cost $10 billion, the post-9/11 Homeland Security mission known as Operation Noble Eagle has cost $23 billion and other war funds for Africa and Europe have cost $137 billion, the study adds. In addition to spending, the study estimates the total death toll in Iraq, Afghanistan and Pakistan related to U.S. military operations since 9/11 at between 480,000 and 507,000.
This post received a score of 42,340, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Original estimate by Rumsfeld, $6 billion, that is a 100,000% cost overrun.
We'll be in and out of Afghanistan in no time, boys, may as well invade Iraq while we're at it.
$6 trillion. Who actually won the war?
The guys who sold the weapons.
That's a very important part of this. $6 trillion spent on war tends to sound like that money was just thrown in a hole and vanished. But it didn't. That huge amount of money went right into the pockets of the people selling weapons and everything else you need to wage a proper war overseas. And those people selling weapons and everything else you need to wage a proper war are the BFFs and family of our government officials.
When it came to Bush admin, they were the government officials.
Oh, you mean like VP Dick Cheney and his previous company Halliburton getting a $7 billion contract? Let's not forget that.
Exactly. And never forget who was a executive of United Technologies, either. How about the Carlyle Group? G.H.W. Bush, James Baker, et al. Anyone remember the general before the war getting fired because he thought it would be over $100 billion to fight the Iraqi war? I remember. MSM blew that guy to shreds. Guess he is laughing on the inside, retired.
I remember Dick Cheney on a news program stating it would cost $60.80, maybe $100 billion depending what happens once we get in there. Paraphrasing, $100 billion is what the total cost of the Vietnam War was.
They lost $12 billion just to nothing at all. Like they literally put $12 billion in cash onto pallets, shipped it over and nobody knows what the fuck happened to it. Edit, or I should say, nobody will admit to knowing anything about it.
I recall hearing about it. Weird. I recall my dad mentioning his military unit getting audited after rather quickly blowing through $1 million can in the Arctic in the 1980s. The auditors did not seem to appreciate that all the receipts were in the local Inuit language. They tried to charge the unit the translation bill.
I have a friend who worked in defense contracting as a network security guy. Most of the Chinese hacks that ended with shitloads of technology stolen were basically brute force affairs that could easily been defeated by basic know-how. If your military is the best due to mostly a technological advantage and that technology is stolen, you have two options. One option is to find a new company to start up developing new technologies, which could cost boatloads. Or use the same company whose technology was just stolen from but they know what they are doing.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to Speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.